Hi everyone, this is Dave. We have a special treat for you today on Mahala's Astrology. We're trying here something new, which is simply plug in the microphone, and I have Mahala here with me so we can simply talk about some astrology. And so you'll find this on the blog, you'll find it on YouTube, and here's Mahala.
Welcome everyone. We're in an interesting year right now. We start out like today's February 8th, 2017, and we're at the very beginning of a whole new galactic spin on the Mayan calendar, and that's a 260-day period of time, and it's called a cosmic restart. And this starts on the glyph of the red magnetic dragon, and the dragon is a very powerful glyph, and it's the beginning of everything, and it rules the goddess energy. And this is a very powerful opportunity for renewal and to realign ourselves and maybe connect up with our higher self. And simultaneously, we are also entering the galactic moon of integrity, and this was yesterday on February 7th. And it's time to take a stand and be our own power. And this moon cycle is a 30-day period. And the characteristics of the red dragon is birth. It is a primal spiral of creation whose face can be seen as a primordial mother in sacred union and with a spiral of God. The roots of the dragon go back to the very beginning of this world. In other words, we are starting a new 260-day year of goddess energy.
So the Mayan cycle. So I'm really not all that familiar with the Mayan cycle. So can you tell me just a little bit more about that?
Okay, well, the Mayans have a calendar, and a lot of people said it ended on December 21st of 2012. And they don't realize that, and then they think that was the end of that calendar. But they don't realize that the calendar goes on. It's just a repeat cycle. And so kind of like in 2012, we started a new cycle, and now we're into 2018. And this cycle, cycle from 2012 until 2020 is a very interesting time period because it's an integration into the new energy. And so a lot of people, I mean, the Mayan calendar goes way back, like 5,000 years or more. Mm-hmm. And so it's a perpetual calendar. And so there are people on the internet that have the information to do the energy that is from 2012, on to years that extend on into the future.
Okay.
And so it's very interesting. I found it has been very, very accurate. And it was like in 2012, what they said, what was so special about 2012 was that we crossed the galactic center. Mm-hmm. And once we crossed the galactic center, we went into a period or a cycle of very high energy. It was just like night and day, crossing over, and so it was a higher frequency. And so now since then, there's been all kinds of energy waves coming in from the cosmos, and these waves have been increasing the frequency of Earth for quite a while now. And now it's got up to the point where we have actually the Earth has jumped into 5D, and people themselves can manifest a higher frequency. Once the Earth is in 5D, we will be able to manifest energy from 5D on up to 12D or maybe even higher. Mm-hmm. But in the very beginning of it, like we can manifest right now, 6 and 7D energy. And I know that like on January 1st, for me, I had kind of a confirmation for that because I got up before the sunrise on January 1st and January 3rd, and both days I saw this ball next to the sun. And I thought, wow, this is the first time I've seen what people call Nibiru next to our sun. And so then I was just kind of playing on the internet, and I saw this video, a channeling by a Palladian being. And the channeling says that Nibiru is on a 7D, is a 7D planet. Mm-hmm. And so is the Palladian system. The Palladian system is manifest 7D all the time. And it's my understanding that the Sirius is like 6D. And And so, because like 60 is kind of like the scientist, it's also magic and miracles. And I know for the last couple of years, I've had a lot of magic and miracles in my life. And so the energy has started for some people before we crossed into 2018. But now that we are, we'll see more people expressing this higher frequency energy.
That's good. Definitely want to see that.
Right, yeah. And also, like, back to the magic and miracles, that's just, it's really fun. And that's like synchronicity, too, where things manifest really fast, and so you have to watch your thoughts, because it's like almost instant manifestation these days. Mm-hmm. And so that, it makes it, okay, I better watch what I think now. What do I want to create?
Okay, and so this is a cycle that we've just started here.
Yes.
And it's a 260-day cycle.
Yes.
So unlike circular 360 degrees, it's interesting that it's 260. Is there...
Yes. I don't know really, because I don't know how the Mayans counted the days and stuff, but they have these different cycles, and it goes over and over again, like 260 days, 260 days, 260 days, and so I don't know how they learned to do that or what, but I just go by what the calendar says.
That's all fine. That's all. Sounds good.
But there's another thing really important that just happened at the first of the year, and this is when the sun was closest to the earth, and that was, I think, January 4th. Mm-hmm. And that is that all of the crystal skulls were recalculated. Mm. They were brought up in frequency. In fact, all of the crystals all over the world were affected by this energy.
So this would include anybody's little crystal that they might have on their desk?
Yes, yes, okay. Yes.
And is it specifically quartz, or is it the crystalline structure?
It's just plain crystals. There's crystals all over the earth. There's all different sizes and shapes. But the crystal skulls, the 13 of them, they're what hold the records of the earth. Okay. And so now it's like we're going into a new cycle of new records. And so it's really interesting, because like a friend told me that all the crystal skulls had been upped in frequency, and I thought, wow, that's interesting. And then I got it from another source. And when you get it from a couple of different sources, it's pretty much, trying to tell you something. Mm-hmm. Yep. And just last night, I went to it was just like a gathering, and this man was doing the crystal bowls. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, oh, this is really, really neat. And so when I walked out of that ceremony, I was just like, oh, I got to get back down to earth. Like, it's just like I was in a different frequency.
So with crystals, if crystals, in the case of the crystal skulls, if they have to do with memory, would you expect that people that would have crystals on their desks or in their space to be able to accentuate memories or bring back memories or help make new memories? What would you...
Oh, okay. I would say that it's a good time right now we'll probably have this eclipse. This upcoming eclipse next week, I think, would be a good time to do it, because that's a lunar eclipse.
Okay, Clyde.
No, wait a minute. That's a solar eclipse.
I did remember that you mentioned intention here too.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And so, yes. But so, anyways, I would like cleanse them, put them in a bowl of water, and then put some salt in there. Sea salt, preferably pure sea salt, and then let them sit overnight, and then take those same crystals and put them out in the sunlight, and ask for the intention of all these crystals to be synchronized with the new crystal energy that's here now.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lot of crystals.
And that's about the eclipse too. So that's coming up in what?
That's February 15th or 16th, depending on where you live.
Okay.
Because there's people listening from all over the world. And so, like here, it's on the 15th in Seattle, in the Pacific Northwest. And also on that day, we enter into the Chinese New Year of the dog. And this should be a very good year. I mean, the last year wasn't, the greatest. And that's because we were in the year of the rooster. And the rooster is kind of like pick, criticize, argue.
I think there was a lot of that happened.
And so on the 15th, we move into dog. And we don't always feel the energies all right away. Sometimes we do. But if you focus on thinking about we're in the year of the dog now, and if you have, especially if you have a dog, and you know how much you love that dog and how gentle they are, and how they say a dog is a man's best friend. Well, that's the kind of energy we'll be moving into with this eclipse.
So when I think about a dog too, I also think about the loyalty of the dog. And so basically, since it's a pack animal, it tends to be there to listen for you, smell for you, defend you, and of course, unconditional love.
Right, that's right. And so this means this is basically the year of love. And we're going to see a real change because the planet Uranus, it moves into Taurus in May of this year. And so where we've been in, Uranus has been in Aries, and that is ruled by Mars. And so we've had Mars energy, which is violence, war, all that kind of stuff. And that's when, right after Uranus went into Aries, the revolution, or what's called the Third World War in prophecy, started in Tunisia, and that was definitely a Mars. And in that war has continued on till today, and now Turkey's fighting, and it said in prophecy that it would encompass the whole Middle East, and it has done that. Particularly Syria got it really bad. You know, Egypt was totally changed. All those North African planets in the Middle East were all changed. They have new governments and everything right now, and so we're moving out of that. And so in May, it will be with Uranus in Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. And so Venus is the love planet.
That would be a direct opposite from war planet.
Right. And so that's why I'm saying we're coming into some really good energy this year.
Good.
You know, we're not quite there yet. There's still a little interaction, integration period that we have to go through. But also when Uranus goes into Taurus, Taurus rules money, and it rules the earth. And so as far as money goes, we'll probably have a new money system will be installed at that time, however that works out. And then also there'll be a lot of things with the earth, like new inventions that could maybe clean up the pollution and all of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And so, and then, and one of the things the last couple of years that has made us very chaotic is that Uranus had been conjunct Eris, which is a goddess planet of chaos. And that had to come in because everything had to be stirred up, so it changed because it's always chaotic before the new comes in. I mean, it's just the way creation works. And so that's the time period we've been going through. Well, we'll be coming out of that because Eris will no longer be conjunct Uranus by May when it moves into a different sign.
Okay.
It'll be in Taurus instead of Eris. And a lot of people, there's different physical manifestations when a planet is in one sign. And I know the past 7 years because Uranus in Aries rules the head, the brain, the eyes, the nose, and there have been all kinds, and sinus too also, and there have been all kinds of problems, especially I hear people complain about their eyes, that their eyes get blurred whenever a solar flare happens or something like that. And so when it moves into Taurus, then those particular aspects will be gone. And of course, Taurus rules the neck and the throat. And so that might be like when we have more of an opening of the throat chakra. Okay.
So people might start singing again?
Yes.
Rather than having sinus infections?
That's right, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so in the last 7 years, also our crown chakra has been affected by the Uranus because it comes into the head. It rules the head, so it comes in, the energy comes into the head.
Okay.
And so, and then it activates all those things. And now, that in the eclipse, I mean, people have started feeling the eclipse. Like the first one was on February 11th in Leo, in the sign of Leo.
Which one was that, just a few weeks ago?
No, this was the one that started the Leo Aquarius energy. And so on February 11th of 2017, we started the first eclipse in the Leo Aquarius thing. And the eclipse goes in cycles, and so it lasts for 2 years. So we'll be in the Leo Aquarius eclipse cycle until January of 2019.
Okay.
And then the eclipses go backwards, just like the node goes backwards. So then we'll move into the Cancer, Capricorn, and it'll be an entirely different manifestation. And so now the effects of the Leo rules the heart, the back, and the ego. And so we've had a lot of ego manifestations in our political scene this past year or so. And also, but a lot of people have been having like heart challenges because on the positive level, the heart chakra has been opening big time.
Mm-hmm.
But on the lower level, a lot of people have had heart attacks and left.
So it'd be either one extreme, either the constriction or the opening.
Yes.
So it's just a heart.
Right.
One way or the other. However the person's manifesting that
heart energy.
Okay.
Yes. And so this heart energy will be focused on, until January of next year. So this whole rest of this year will be focused on heart energy.
So if the person listening happens to be somebody that practices heart activities,
right,
then they might be able to find that the energy is accentuated for the next year.
Yes.
That's always, for someone who feels their way through things, that becomes very exciting.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and then with the crystals too, I mean, the crystals are white, they're manifested, they're Christ consciousness that is manifested in a solid form. Mm-hmm. And so with the new crystal energy coming in waveforms, this has been bringing in Christ consciousness energy. And so people have an opportunity to manifest to this energy if they so choose, But in order to get a clear manifestation of the Christ consciousness, you have to have let go of all your garbage that you've been carrying around for so many years. Like let go and let God.
Well, speaking of garbage, wouldn't that lead us right to politics?
Right, yeah. But one more thing about the Aquarius, because we have the Leo-Aquarius combination. And so Aquarius is the new age energy, the golden age. And so we're in, we've been in the age of Aquarius since 1962, but we've been in the integration period of the age of Aquarius. And now we're coming full-blown into the age of Aquarius, because the age of Aquarius manifests as golden light. And it was, about a year ago that planet exploded, and all of this gold energy went through the universe, or our solar system.
So you would remember that.
Yeah, well, I don't. It wasn't that long ago. And so that's when the real beginning of the age of Aquarius, after the integration period, started. So now we're full-blown into the age of Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
And then Aquarius is all kinds of new inventions. In fact, I just got an email a couple days ago about these new light bulbs that have now been put on the market. And I had gotten one about 15 years ago, and then I couldn't find any place to buy it again because it takes the pollution out of the air. It takes smoke out of there, it takes perfume out of the air, it takes viruses, and it helps with allergies, and it's really good. And so now here it is available to the public.
Yeah, so you have a link to that. We'll add that to the link at the bottom of this. We'll put it in the article so everybody can have that link.
That would be good, yeah, because everyone would like,
of course,
something like
especially
that.
people who are sensitive.
Right,
and we're coming out of the sinus era, so now something like this comes along, which takes allergens out of the air. That's perfect timing.
Yeah, because Aquarius is a scientific sign.
Okay.
Yeah, and so with that, it also rules, a lot of new scientific venture. I guess just leave it with that.
Okay.
For now. Oh, but it also rules the legs.
Oh, so legs. So let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
So
and I got this email from Astrology friend, and she says, well, the legs are like number 1111, or 11.
Okay.
And so we've been in the year like. The beginning of the Leo Aquarius was February 11th, 11, and then this year is 11, and then the first 3 full moons are all on 11, and so the number 11 will be dominant this year, which is a year of creativity.
Okay. So what I also find interesting about the legs is that when people come around to saying, I don't understand, it tends to reinforce the leg energy, which is understanding, standing on something.
Standing.
So if we have energy coming to legs for people to, comprehend it. So rather being able to stand, rather than misunderstandings or not understanding.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, a very good.
Being able to stand up, be able to see the truth about things. I'd like that. That'd be good energy.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so political stuff here.
Yeah, we'll try to keep this really short, though.
Okay, well, first let's talk about the money.
Money. Okay, yeah, money's
Okay,
good.
because the stock market just crashed like crazy a couple of days ago. Moving, yeah, and it went downward, and because that Jupiter is in the sign of Scorpio, and Jupiter's a big planet. And it's been there for about 3 months now. And as soon as it went in there, the sexual scandals started coming out, and for the sexual abuse, and that's been coming out. Like yesterday, there's still another one. So that's what Scorpio, because Scorpio is a god of the underworld, it real secret things, and Jupiter's there, and so it's bringing that to light.
And so it's also abundant. Jupiter always
is
a huge planet, so it can bring
uh-huh.
lots and lots of it, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
but there's a polarity between Scorpio and Taurus. And so Taurus rules money. Like if you're born with the sun in Scorpio, the earth would be in Taurus. And so you'd pick up the energy for both. And Taurus rules money. And so as we look at this polarity of the Jupiter and the Taurus, we saw that the negative part of it was that the stock market crashed. But then it can go up again. But it's definitely going to change for good once Uranus goes into Taurus in May.
In May, so we're a couple months from that.
Yeah, and so we're in the kind of the transition period, because it always starts before it goes in there a little bit, because like if you see a transit coming in your chart, you can see, well, some of them start, ahead of time, and then they get like when it's exact, then the major thing happens, and then this goes past it, then, kind of calms down a bit. And that's the way astrology works. And so, that's what, because a lot of people don't, or astrologers don't really think about the earth and how that fits into the scheme of things. And so that's why I brought up about how there's a polarity between.
Well, that fundamental concept is interesting, because if you were on Mars, you'd be saying your earth is rising.
Right. That's
and so
right.
it's like, wait a minute, we are on Earth, it's probably affecting things too.
Right, yeah. And there is a different type of astrology that I have never really gotten into, because it's a cosmic, I don't know the exact name, but I don't remember it, but it's like cosmic, and it's from looking at the planets from a different angle. And so, but I thought,
changing your perspectives.
Right, right. Yeah. But I thought, okay, this is just, I do the Western astrology, and it seems to work, so
it's all good.
I'll stick with that.
It's all good.
Okay, and so it's really interesting that we have a president, who has his Mars is in Leo, it's on the ascendant, and his ascendant is actually 29 degrees Leo. And so when I first looked at his chart, and I thought, oh, well, he's not on this level. He's not what people really think he is, because on a higher level, his ascendant lines up to Regulus, the royal star of the lion. And so I thought, well, he's just down here being an actor, playing the part that he's chosen to play. And I think he's doing a wonderful job of the job he chose to do, which is not easy, is to bring all the corruption out into the open. And so I think he's doing a very, very good job of that.
Yeah, I would always like to see that stuff come out. We like to see the truth.
Yes.
See the truth about things,
Right.
whatever it is.
Right, yeah. And so, of course, so then he came in, like as a liar, they say, oh, he's given 2,000 lies or some such thing. And so I thought, well, that's the opposite of the truth, And so because he does that, this brings out all of this anger energy in people. And they say, well, what's going on here? And it's my understanding that he does have some connections with Putin, who for a long time I've known. And that was a person that I really didn't care too much for, because I knew that his energy was a desire to take over the world. And so now he has someone who they have gotten information on him that he has been doing financial dealings with the mafia of Russia. And so I don't really like that, but that's all part of the process of him bringing this out into the open so everyone can see what's going on. And so anyways, but this eclipse, the first eclipse on, well, not the first eclipse, but the one that was August 21st.
Which was a year ago.
No, it was just this summer.
Okay.
August 21st of
That's right.
2017,
That was
where it
across
was
the US.
a total eclipse that went all across the United States.
Yeah.
And so that means the whole United States. Well, when you have an eclipse like that, chaos happens.
Yep.
And then with Pluto being in Capricorn, and Capricorn rules the government. And so that's been sitting, like right over Washington, D.C. and also New York, and that New York's where the stock market is. And that's why the transformation, you could say, of the stock market happened a couple of days ago. And there'll be more transformation of the money things as Pluto's sitting over that area. And then, so we had to have a president who would pull in that Pluto energy, the god of the underworld, that would transform everything. So we're in a major transformation process.
Yeah, so the god of the underworld, too, would seem like there would be secrets that would come out.
Yes.
There would be stuff that's been deeply hidden.
Yes.
Things in the darkness.
Yes.
That somebody shines some light there.
Yeah, so it surfaces. Okay. And so that's a process that we're in. And
so how long do you really see that transit going on?
Okay, well, I was just going to, let me talk a little more about Trump here, because this last eclipse that was on January 31st, which is an extremely powerful one, it was exactly on top of Trump's Pluto, the transformer.
Okay.
And so we're in a very big transformation period right now. And then Mars...
So, but again, we're talking about Trump.
Yes.
So
well, the whole government,
Okay, so whatever he's in charge of, his
because
energy.
He's in charge of the whole United States. And so if you've got the eclipse on top of your Pluto, there's major transformation coming up.
Okay.
And there has been. And this continues. Okay, and so then Mars, the planet of, violence and wars and stuff like that. But if we would just look at Mars in a different way, because Mars was kind of like this asteroid went by it a few years ago and totally changed the energy of Mars. And it changed it because Mars had to be changed in its energy too, because it's so close to the Earth. And so at that particular time, it changed the energy of Mars. And so Mars at that time turned into a peaceful planet, but we haven't changed our perception of it yet.
Okay, so I remember a comet coming by a couple years ago that then there were some pictures that came out on the internet that showing this the big dust corona around the planet.
Yeah, oh, that was
and
gorgeous.
Then it kind of disappeared.
Yes, it did. The powers that be didn't really want us to know that.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyways, that's what it did. It upped the frequency of Mars to go from war to peace. And so if everyone would just start thinking of Mars as a peace planet, which will probably take effect as Uranus goes into Aries.
It'd be nice to think of Mars, too, as a root chakra planet. It'd be an energy planet.
Oh, yeah, it is an energy planet, too. It will always be an energy planet.
Yeah. Where it doesn't necessarily have to be violence, but it can be activity.
Yes.
That'd be good.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so Mars just went into Sagittarius just a few days ago. And so Sagittarius rules things like judges, courts of law, everything connected with that.
And again, we're talking about Trump.
Yes. Okay, well, talking about that's what it means when it goes into Sag. Sag also rules mountains and higher philosophy and all that kind of things. But with Mars and Sagittarius, Trump has Uranus on 17 degrees Gemini. His node, and this is his north node, and that's kind of very powerful. And that's on 20 degrees Gemini. And then his sun is on 22 Gemini. And then his moon and his south node are all in Sagittarius. And so as Mars goes through the sign of Sagittarius, which it will do until the spring equinox, there's going to be an awful lot of power that will come up against Trump because of the placement of his planets, in here. Okay,
so would the power be against him or would it be through him? So the power is still going to be there, though.
Yeah, the power will be there. It could work either way. Okay. But mainly if you have Mars opposing you.
Because it seems like right now the things that are going on in the headlines are pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah.
There's lots of people that are interpreting it both ways, and it's very powerful.
Yes.
And so you're saying all the way to the spring equinox, which puts us in March 20th?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So weeks.
So we're in a really critical time period now, and up to then, And then, but as far as Trump is concerned, once the Mars goes into Capricorn, then it will be posing his 3 Cancer planets. And right now, Saturn is almost exactly posing his Mercury, and that's kind of a real hard, that gives a lot of vocal energy, because Mercury rules speech, so it gives a lot of vocal energy against him right now with Saturn opposing. And Saturn moves really slow, and Saturn will take 2.5 years to get through Capricorn. And so there's going to be, when Saturn gets up to the point where it will be conjunct Pluto, which is still like a worst year or so away, then that's a real climax in everything that's been going on in the governments and stuff like that.
To me, then it sounds like I would interpret that as there's lots of mainstream media. There's lots of networks out there that have been saying a lot of things about him. That he's probably going to have to hear. We're going to all have to hear that for a while.
Yes.
It's like, I just want to hear heart energy for a little while.
Well, it's apparently coming in May.
Okay, so hopefully this will be quick.
As fast as time goes, that'll be here, before you even know it. Yeah. It'll be here.
Okay.
And so...
so hopefully that'll just come and it'll go away and they'll start talking about something better.
Well, the reason, like I said earlier, that the reason that there's been so much chaos here is because Uranus in Aries has been trying Saturn in Sagittarius, and so it's still bringing in, with the Eris being conjunct Uranus, then it's still bringing in chaos using. But before too long, so it seems like May is be a big turning point.
Good. May doesn't seem that far away. The flowers will be blooming then.
Yeah, it's almost spring, I mean, flowers are starting to come up in my yard.
Yep.
Yeah. And so...
so does that kind of wrap it up for Donald Trump?
For now, for the time being anyways, yeah. And so it's one thing, like when we were watching the news the other night, and my husband said to me, he says, this movie's getting very, very intense. And so if you can just stay, because the most important thing that we're learning from this, the Trump energy and all of the light against the dark, or Republican against the Democrat, or whatever you want to call it, or male against female, I guess we should say.
Dichotomy that happens.
Yes. Dichotomy is to find your center and stay in your center. And start looking at the whole drama as a movie.
Yeah.
And then each day you can watch I got another chapter to this movie. What's going on in this chapter, And to me, it's been a very exciting movie to watch.
Yes, so one of the things that helps keep me grounded in all this is when I can look on the computer, I can see the headlines, I can see on TV, or I can see on the internet where this energy is coming up and it's really strong, either way on one extreme or way on the other extreme. And then when I step outside, the birds are still chirping.
Right.
The grass is just like it was yesterday. The trees are the same cycle as it was last year. Nothing's changed in the neighborhood, or it's just that virtual life that we're connected to via the internet or via the media or via that communication system that humanity's built up over the last 50, 60, 70 years.
Right.
Yes. So we're going to be, hopefully the good part here is being able to see that there's going to be a level of intensity for the next couple of months, particularly with regards to, some politics stuff.
Yeah.
But we should start seeing more heart energy shortly thereafter.
Yes. Yes. And any time of this year we can have, if people will tune into the heart energy, because of the crystals, changing frequency at the beginning of the year. And so that brings in all the heart energy. And so if they can just focus on tuning into their heart, and the heart is the most powerful part of the body. Yes. I mean, the electromagnetic field that goes out from the heart, people think that, like your mind, but there's 3 different brains. There's a brain in your solar plexus, which is your power chakra. There's a brain in your head, which is your mental chakra. And there's a brain in the heart. And the brain in the heart is the most powerful one. Yes,
and that's what we want to see. So we should probably wrap this up because people want to listen to us all day.
Right.
But just as a side note, thank you all for listening. Feel free to like the video. Oh yeah, and of course the people that are waiting for the past life charts, I'm still getting to those. They're coming. If you're interested, feel free to take a look at the website. And you know, we're always available. We love donations. We love to give these charts. We love the feedback that we get from these charts.
Mm-hmm. And the website is www.mahalasastrology.com.
That's right.
And MAHALA Astrology, ASTROLOGY.com.
Perfect. Have a great day.